Okay, so in this next module, we're going to take a look at some of the drawing tools, specifically the line tool. We'll try to get into the polyline and the circle as well. But the first thing I want to do is let's set the grid so that it makes a little bit more visual sense. Down on the bottom left here on the grid icon, we're going to right click. There we go, and go to settings. And I want to make sure that my X and Y spacing is set to 1 and that the grid spacing is also set to 1, and we have a major line every 4. Okay, so basically every line segment that we see is going to be an inch, and we'll have a major line. Turn my grid on. So each one of these boxes is an inch high by an inch wide. So the larger box, if you can see that, is essentially 4 inches by 4 inches square. All right, so now that we've got our grid set, we've got our X and Y. This is our UCS, our user coordinate system. This point right here is our 0, 0. Okay, that is our origin. So let's go ahead and start with the line command. I'm going to left click on the line tool, and it's asking us to specify the first point. Now there are different ways to do this. You have the absolute value command, relative value command, polar, and direct input. Okay, so first what we're going to do is we're going to use our X and Y values, and the first point is going to be an X value of 0, comma 2, and I'm going to hit enter. And you'll notice that that was all done in the command line. In case you didn't do it, you can turn off your dynamic input, which is this icon right here, and that'll allow you to directly type in commands in the command line. So I've got the beginning of my line at 0, 2, and the next line, or the next point I'm going to create is going to be at 2, comma 4. I'm going to hit enter, and it's created a line segment that particular length, and the endpoint is at 2, comma 4. So now let's create a straight line going across. So the X value, let's make it 5, and comma, and I'm going to do 4, since that was our last value as well, and we've created a straight line. So each one of these coordinates that I'm typing in is, I'm going to hit escape to cancel out of the line tool, but each one of these coordinates starts from the origin. So the first one that we created was 0, 2, so we went 0 in the X direction and went up 2 in the Y direction, and the next endpoint we went over 2, so 1, 2, and we went up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. The next coordinate that we did was, I believe, 5, 4. Right. So we went over from the origin, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and up 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. So everything is always based from the origin. So let's say we wanted to, we had a line segment or a coordinate that said it went up, 1, 1. All right. So how do we do that? We go over 1 and we want to end up 1. Okay. If we were using absolute values, we'd have to go over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we'd have to input a coordinate of 6, 5. Okay, but that's a lot of counting. So what we can do instead, I'm going to go to and select my line command again, and I'm going to left click on this endpoint. What we can do instead is we can use a relative value. A relative value basically says that I want to start at the last place that I picked a point. Okay, so with this endpoint being the last point that I picked, I'm going to type in the @ symbol, which means that it's relative, and then I'm going to hit 1, comma 1, and I hit enter, and now you'll notice that it did 1 space over and 1 space up relative to the last point that we created. Okay, so we're not using the origin anymore, but we're using a relative point, which was the last point that we created. All right. And outside of that, we have the direct input method, which is basically just left-clicking wherever you feel wherever you feel you need to click. Okay, I can also go ahead and turn my dynamic input back on. Okay, I've turned it on, and I can say that I want a line 5 inches, so I hit 5 and enter, and it gives me a line 5 inches. Now if I want to make sure that the line is going up vertically, I track my mouse vertically. Alright, so that we're going in that direction, and I do it again. Let me type in 4 this time, so 4 inches, hit enter, and it created a line 4 inches up. Okay, remember, if you want perfectly horizontal or vertical lines, you have to turn on your ortho. Okay, the ortho command is down here. You can hit F8, all right, and it ensures that I am perfectly horizontal or vertical. So I'm going to go horizontal, and I want to say that this is 3 inches, and I want to go up 5. Let's do 2 inches. Hit 2, enter, all right, and I am drawing perfectly straight lines. This I can make 5 inches, and then I'm going to right click and hit close, and it goes back to the first point that I started this whole geometric extravaganza. Okay, so that's using the line tool. I'm going to select everything. And this time I just want to show you what the difference is between using a line tool and using a polyline tool. So let me go to line tool, and I'm going to do a little zigzag. Whoops, I've got my ortho on. Turn that off. I'm going to do a little zigzag. Alright, so that's using the line tool. Now I'm going to do the same thing using a polyline. So I'm going to do this in the same manner. Create a little zigzag. Alright, so the top is created using the line tool. The bottom is created by the polyline tool. So if I left click and select one of the line segments, you'll notice that only one of the line segments are selected. If I click some more, then each line segment is selected. That's using the line tool. If I select one of the line segments that was created by the polyline, you'll notice that everything gets selected. So if you use the polyline tool, each line segment is recognized as one entire unit. Okay, I'm going to hit escape to clear that. If I select a line segment using the line tool, then each line segment that is drawn is its own line segment, and it acts that way. Okay, so that's the difference between a line and a polyline. So I'm going to go ahead, clear this out, and next we're going to touch on circles. So here's our circle tool, and right off the bat we've got center radius. Okay, so if we read the command line, it's going to tell us the directions, what to do. So it says specify the center point for a circle. Okay, so I'm going to pick a random point there, and then it says specify the radius of the circle. So as I'm dragging this out, you can see our numbers getting bigger. 4 inches, 5 inches, that's our radius. Okay, so I want to make a 2-inch radius circle. Okay, and that's our 2-inch radius circle. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to hit the circle tool, pick my center point just like we did last time. But this time, you'll notice in the command line, in brackets we have the word diameter, and the letter D in diameter is capitalized, and whatever is capitalized in brackets is actually another command that we can use. in the middle of the current command. So we're currently in the circle radius command, and I want to type in diameter instead of a radius. So in the middle of this command, I'm going to type in D for diameter, hit enter, and now it's going to ask me for a diameter. Okay, so I want the circle of the same size, so I'm going to hit 4 as being the diameter and hit enter, and now I have a circle that's the same size. So this circle was created by using the radius. The other circle was created by using the diameter tool. Okay, if we go up to the drop down for circle, okay, we can use center diameter. This is pretty much the same thing that we just did. We also have other options of creating a 2-point circle, 3-point circle, using tangent, tangent, radius if we have that information, or tangent, tangent, tangent. So really quick, 2-point circle, we can snap to the quadrant here, and maybe the quadrant down here. So we use 2 points. We use this point and this point to create our circle. Okay, I'm going to delete that. We're going to try another one. We're going to try tangent, tangent, radius. So tangent, tangent, radius, we can pick any point because it's going to figure it out mathematically where those tangent points are based on the radius. So the radius I want to have is, let's say, 6. I'm going to hit enter, and my radius is 6. There we go, and we have 2 tangent points based on the parts of the circles that we selected. Okay, if I want to, I can create a circle based on 3 tangent points. So if I hit the drop down, go to tangent, 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 and I want it to be tangent to this circle, and this circle, it creates a circle that are tangent to all 3 points. All right, and that is using the circle tool.